Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Richard. At the moment I'm making a privacy screen for the side of a patio, and I just pausing while I'm doing the back of it here. I'm painting the back of it here. I'll go into more detail about how it's constructed when I turn it around to paint the front. So I haven't done any of the any video of it actually being constructed, but it's fairly simple and straightforward, and I'll be able to describe it in more detail later when I turn it around. But essentially it's constructed using 3x3 posts on either end, with a 2x2 batten attached to the side of it to allow a 1x2 and a 1x4 batten to be put alternatively down the front of the privacy screen, the part that will be seen from the patio, and then a 2x4 down the middle for structural support, and two 2x4s, one at the bottom and one at the top, and I'll describe this in more detail when I turn it around. So this is the privacy screen from the front. This is the part that faces towards the patio. So you can see that the two uprights on the end are 3x3s, and the slats are 1x4s and 1x2s, just to give it a bit more of a variety, make it look a bit more attractive. As you can see, that some of the 1x2s are not totally straight. Out of a pack of 12, this is the best they had, so obviously not getting very good quality wood here in Cyprus. The bottom, underneath the slats, there's you can see I've joined a 2x4 that's attached at both ends, and in the centrepiece there's a 2x4 running up the centre, and then 2x4 again across there. At the top, as you probably saw from the back, there's a 2x4 running along the whole length of the screen for support. That's a sort of structural beam, and then in front of it I've still put a 2x4. Interestingly, sorry, a 1x4. The 1x4 is actually slightly wider than the 2x4 because nothing is very precise when you buy it in this country. So, and I've attached to make it look more attractive, and to get a flush, more or less flush here, I've indented these by putting a 2x2 attached to the 3x3, given an extra centimetre here, which is the width of the 1x2s and the 1x4s. So it's countersunk in, looks better that way, I think. So that's getting there. I have the feet wise, there's a hell of a lot of weight on this, so I'm trying to make sure that the combination of good feet, and I'm going to use somehow work out how to use these concrete blocks to support the feet. We have very high winds here, but with these wide slats there shouldn't be a big wind problem. But it is a little bit top heavy, so there's a danger of it flipping over the banisters into the garden below, which would be very bad news. I'm probably going to, and the reason I put this level here, I put it below the level of the caps on the balustrade here, so I'm probably going to put a couple of screws through into the balustrade if my drill is man enough to get into the balustrade deep enough to be able to be of any value for support purposes. I'm even toying with drilling all the way through the balustrade and then putting a bolt through from the wood to the other side, but I don't think my drill will get through the whole of the balustrade. We'll find out a bit later. Okay, for added security, because of the high winds we have here, I've opted to put a piece of steel rod through the post, through the wood, through the post, and I'm going to put a nut and washer on each end. And that's not intended to add the full support, but it'll hopefully stop it swaying. What I don't want to do is, of course, break off the posts with the weight of the wooden frame. But the idea is that with the feet that I put on, which I'll go into in more detail in a sec, with the concrete weights on these feet, I'm hoping that will secure it as enough as it is, but this is just for added security and to keep it perpendicular. I hope this works. It took a bit of doing because my drill wasn't quite long enough to go through the post, so I had to guesstimate the exit hole area and drill from the other side, and I more or less got it right, which is good. Your view of the privacy screen in its final position. And this is our seating area. So the idea is we can sit here without being overlooked by anyone who's on the hill over the other side. Pretty reasonable, I think. And you can see the concrete block in position over the wooden foot, and there's one the other side as well, which are very heavy, and so combined with the bolting to the uprights on the balustrade, I think that should be pretty secure. We've had some quite high winds since I put it up, and it's been okay. That middle foot is just for a little bit of added stability. I don't plan to put a block there, although I bought a block to put in place, but I don't plan to use that. This is the finished product of the screen, pretty much. Few things I'd have done slightly differently. I would have painted the slats before I attached them. That would have saved a great deal of time and effort. Trying to paint them on all four sides when they're up and attached is really, really difficult. So I'd have done that. I always planned to sand the wood down once I had put it together, but in the end I was too lazy. But the finished product would have looked a bit more professional had it been sanded. Other than that, the design I think is pretty sound. It's a shame that a couple of the 1x2s are crooked, but I had a pack of 12 and these are the straightest I could find, so I got a pretty raw deal on that pack. You can see the bottom 1x4 and the second from top 1x4 have got a kink in the end. So I'll need to replace those when I get another pack of 1x4s for another project. So I think I like this design that I've done here, which I mentioned before, but the idea of having a 2x2 attached to the 3x3 upright to allow a 1-inch gap this side on the patio side, so that the 1x2s and the 1x4s fit snugly and they're more or less flush with the 3x3s on the side. I think it looks pretty nice like that. So overall, pretty reasonable, and I think as a privacy screen it blends in pretty well with the balustrade that's already there.
Okay, so thanks for watching this video. That's the completed privacy screen. If you have any comments or suggestions about how I could have done it differently, then please list them below. And if you like the video, then please give me a thumbs up underneath the video. And look forward to you seeing other videos I do in the future on other DIY projects. I'll be doing another privacy screen shortly.